Thank you so much for joining our webinar today about digitalizing quality management system. And just a quick reminder about the rules for today. All attendees will be muted, but in the end, we will answer all of the questions. So please type them in the chat function. And we will record the webinar and we will send you the link. So don't worry about that as well. And I think we are pretty much good to begin. And first of all, just wanted to remind you about Flex. And Flex Databases is a software development company, and we've created a secure, unified, and compliant system that is specifically built for life sciences. And besides the quality management system that we will be discussing today and digitalizing of quality management system, we also have our CTMS system for all of the clinical operations people out there, my favorite trial master file, of course, and safety database as well. And project and finance management system for clinical trials also is on the platform. So another point before we go into the detailed presentation is I wanted to introduce our speakers today. And Anna Petrovskaya is Quality Director at Flex Databases. She started many years ago in a global CRO responsible for many audits, the site audits, internal audits, documentation audits, and such, and then transitioned to IT part, joined Flex Databases, and oversees our global QA. She also participated in digitalizing and validation for 50 different clients of ours in the US, Europe, and Asia. And also she is an annual RQA speaker and one of my favorite quality people on earth, obviously. And also today, our star guest, Vera Valesova from Deloitte, a senior manager with 15 years experience in drug development. And Vera oversees implementation of quality systems and global regulatory affairs in drug development, and participates in implementation of various digital systems in pharma companies and medtech as well. Vera, if you want to say a couple words about Deloitte and why are we doing this together?
Yeah, maybe a few words. Hello, so my name is Vera Valesova. I'm based in Prague in Life Science and Healthcare Department. So it's Deloitte. Just would like to point out that Deloitte is not just a big company in both in tax and legal, but we have also huge life science and healthcare professionals, and we are involved in strategy and advisory, of course, for our clients, but also, as Evgenia mentioned, in implementation of various system in GXP environment. And so that's why we put our forces together.
Thank you, Vera. Anna, is it time for you now already?
For sure. Let's start. Let's get closer to details, closer to the top.
And it's good having Vera today with us and Deloitte, and we're happy very much to having such a great partner on our side. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, in fact, it's always a pleasure to conduct webinars together with Deloitte, and like each time something new. So, and thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you have any questions, please take your opportunity to ask. We have the chat, so just drop a message and we will get to the questions after the slides. And again, I would remind you that the webinar will be recorded and made available afterward. So just in case you would like to enjoy it again and again, you will have such a possibility. Okay, so what is on the menu today? We are going to discuss the quality management system and find the answer to the question whether it is worth digitalizing or not. So we have the following on menu today: how and why to digitalize the quality management system. If we do it, will we still be able to comply with all the applicable regulations and standards, since compliance is our top priority for sure. And will we save or waste our resources by going digital? As it is always a challenge to adopt something new and to start working with the new system. Seems that it's easier to work with paper as we are all used to. So shall we have a poll before we start answering the questions? Or
I think, yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's go ahead with the poll to make sure that we are all here and engaged into what we are doing. Please take part in a small poll. Like use the bottom corner. There is the button with the poll. Just choose one answer. Maybe you are already digitalized, maybe you are partially there, or maybe you are not there yet. Take your time to share the response, and then we'll see the results.
Anna, you can also vote, so we show that Flex databases did digitalize it.
Yeah, already done. Yeah, in fact, I've done, and I'm enjoying it. My quality soul is enjoying the digital system. Okay, I believe that all the healthy volunteers have participated in our poll. Let's take a look at what we have. Like, we are finishing up the survey. Let's see the results. Like, in fact, there are people who have already, digitalized their quality management system. Please share your experience and answer your, share your questions or maybe your challenges you have faced. Some of them have partially digitalized, and there are still some companies who have not digitalized their quality management system. So we are here for you.
Looks like half of the people at least partially digitalized the system. So I think that it will be interesting to hear you and listen to you.
We are always glad to share the experience and to discuss the pros and cons. Okay, so thank you for your input, and let's continue with the slides. So the paper part of quality assurance routine works like this. The longer you've been in quality assurance, the more documents you have created, right? So, and that's GCP principle. If it is not documented, it never happened, is still with us. So we have to bear in mind that we do document whatever we work with. So, and we collect the vetting signatures from our colleagues around the world. We are paying attention to the date format and the color of the pen used, right? So I remember the times when I lots of years ago collected the signatures from different parts of the world, and then someone signed with the black ink pen, not the blue, and we have to start it all over again. So, and then we have to track the distribution of the documents and regulate access to them. We have to maintain confidentiality and organize the secure storage of the documents to make sure that nothing happens to them. And the longer we work, the more documents we have, and we need more and more space for the documents, and we have to somehow ensure the reliable disaster recovery plan that allows us to recover everything if anything happens. So, and we really have lots of processes to keep track of, including corrective and preventive actions that need to be taken. The audit reports needed to be followed up. Lots of deadlines are to be met. And in fact, it is quite challenging. And so I'm really sure that we quality people enjoy our daily routines. I think that everyone would like to simplify our quality assurance processes. And here we come with our Flex Databases quality management system, which help us to get rid of paper and streamline our quality assurance processes. With the digitalized quality management system, all our processes are in one place, quite smooth and transparent. So the system allows us to keep track of all audits, including scheduling, reporting, and following up. All company employees can easily report and manage incidents within the system. CAPAs are also here, and all actions are planned, approved, and followed up and tracked in the system. Well, in fact, I would say that all GMP, GCP, and other quality assurance activities are maintained within one system, interconnected and mutually supportive. So it really changes life and brings, more transparency to all the processes. Today, my main priority will be to demonstrate that everything is organized quite easily. And once we have everything in one system, we will save our resources and use them efficiently. So let's start with one of my favorite parts, like incidents. Once we decide that all incidents need to be reported, we grant access to everyone so that they can report each incident as soon as it occurs. Well, in our company, by default, we believe that the incident reporting tool should be accessible to everyone, although access rights can be configured according to your needs and procedures. So here we see that once an incident is detected by any employee in any company office, it can be reported in the system, and the system begins to track all further actions, including investigation and resolution. Like, we can document what happened, when it happened, and what we're going to do about it. Of course, we may not have all the necessary information. We need to fill in all the fields at the very first stage, so not all fields will be mandatory at this step. Our default incident assessment is the standard one, so let it be like of low urgency, like nothing critical happened, and we plan time to fix the problem and implement the necessary changes. We have the calendar here, and the system would send you the notifications regarding all the dates planned and stated in the system. So what we can do, we have the fields, to attach the confirmation documents, which can be photos, reports, screenshots, or anything else. You see, we have the finished documents in the system. And if any changes are required, you can manually introduce them by adding the necessary information. Once we send the document for further processing, and again, it is done within the system, like we have to save it. We can download it to work at our computer, but it will not leave the system. It will always be there for further tracking and for further work with the system. So let's see what happens next. Checking that we've done everything, and we are sending it for review. Like, the person who we select for the initial incident report review can be the functional manager, the line manager, or like the responsible employee, all according to your workflow. The reviewer will see the report immediately in the system and receive an email notification, so that we will be sure that nothing is missed. This one is the default workflow. For sure, it can be changed. It can be configured in the system according to your processes. So we are now acting as the reviewer, and the next possible steps are either to add some action items, either to decide that it is not an incident at all, either to approve it and send for quality review, either to ask for some further details. Okay, so we're sure that nothing is missed, everything is in place. We are choosing the next step, performer, and after the review, the incident report will be made available for quality assurance. As you know, the quality assurance is always involved into incident management. For the quality assurance reviewer, there would be, let's see, several options for further action. Either to ask the reporter for further clarification, either to decide that we do not need any CAPA, or we need a CAPA. Once we decide that the CAPA is needed, it would be created in the system automatically. Like, that's easy. All the data that has already been entered into the incident report would be automatically transferred into the CAPA form. And at any stage, you can seek for some clarifications required from the incident reporter or from the previous reviewer, and you have the ability to add any required details, confirmation documents, and whatever. So we've decided that we need a CAPA, so let me show you how the CAPA flow works here. Let me create the new CAPA from scratch. Not as a resulting from the incident, but resulting, for example, from some internal audit. Maybe there was an internal audit and there are some findings that require a CAPA form. So in our case, it would be like some data of CAPA request. We can decide if it is project specific or not, but if it was the project audit, it would be the project specific for sure. So we are going to initiate a CAPA and track all the observations and their grading in the form. Let's see how we are going to send the CAPA to the implementer again through the system. In fact, the process is pretty much the same as incident reporting. We enter the necessary information in the appropriate fields and adding the observations, their grading, the applicable standards, whatever. I'd like to point out that for sure different regulated companies definitely have different standard document forms. So we are demonstrating like some default one, but for sure the specific template is easily configured in the system. So you are welcome to use the templates that you prefer according to your standard operating procedures. We have the standard observation rating here and the standard fields to fill in. While entering all the necessary information, and once we complete the form, we sign it electronically within the system and forward it to the CAPA implementer. So, and here I like to point out that one more advantage of keeping all the documents in one system is that you are sure that CAPA implementer will receive the notification and the information regarding the deadline. So the system will keep reminding to all participants of the processes about the timelines, when the corrective and preventive action are to be planned and completed and followed up, and so on and so forth, so that we are sure that CAPA will be finalized as it was planned. The workflow is as follows. We have to plan the corrective and preventive actions, we have to approve them, we have to make sure they have been implemented, and the system keeps track of all the steps. So again, like we would create the CAPA, we would get all the notifications, we would even assess the CAPA, the corrective and preventive actions, whether they have been effective or not. Okay, let's proceed. Like after the CAPA, we usually have some time to, assess either it was effective or not. And now let's get to one more QA activity, the audits. They are basically the most important part of our quality assurance, and each of them is to be planned. We have to find the available dates, to contact the auditees, to agree the dates and agenda, and to provide the audit plan for review. And definitely it takes like lots of time, especially in our industry where everyone is either out of office on a business trip, either on vacation, either already busy with another audit or working like with documents. So it's really difficult to find time and place to review the document, print it and sign it and so on. And so with the digital process, we have everything in one system. We have our beautiful calendar that tracks all activities planned and have the possibility to plan the proposed dates, send them to the auditee. And so to share the pleasant news regarding the audit plan, right? After that, everything is in accordance with the preset workflow. We are drafting the audit plan, sending it for review and approval within the system. And once all the plan dates approach, the system will remind us that it's high time to finalize the audit plan, to get prepared for an audit, or to finalize the audit report, and so on and so forth. And again, all the actions, like after the audit, if the CAPA has been initiated, or if there are any corrective and preventive actions planned. So the system would send, first of all, the notification to the implementer, and then the notifications regarding the approaching timelines would be sent to the quality assurance people and to the CAPA implementer. So that's quite straightforward, I would say. Well, the system will support you with your audits, including the vendor assessment audits, the site audits, the project audits, and so on and so forth. If there is the need to initiate a CAPA as a result of the audit, the necessary information will be transferred from the audit report to the new CAPA form and forwarded to the CAPA implementer for further processing, including the root cause, the corrective and preventive actions planning, and so on, as we have already seen. And since we have everything in one system, we can demonstrate the compliance with the data integrity regulations, and we do not need any spreadsheet, Excel trackers, and so on and so forth. So everything is here, smoothly interconnected. All the information is connected. And again, everything is captured in the audit trail, right? Which is quite important for us. So all the documents stored in the system with the restricted access, with the controlled users' rights, subject to backup for sure, and always ready for any reporting. And again, the system will be configured according to your SOPs, according to your processes, according to your templates. And the same goes to the quality management documents. All actions performed within the system. The documents would be drafted, reviewed, approved, signed, finalized, published within the system, and even the training will be signed within the system. All the documents would be integrated, so you can work with the same copy simultaneously. There is the connection with the learning management system. So you finalize the document, you publish it, you create the quiz within the system, assign the training to the newly issued version, and track the training progress as well. The document will be published and made available to the employees so that we are sure that everyone receives the notification regarding the training assigned, like takes the quiz, and if the answers are correct, the system would allow to sign the electronic training record. And like more than that, we are sure that everyone has access only to the currently effective versions of the SOPs, templates, and other quality management system documents. And we have the history of changes kept in the system. And since we approached the history of changes, we are approaching the change control, maybe it's time to start talking about the changes. But prior to that, let's take another poll, regarding the change control. There are some more questions. Do you have change control already implemented in your company? Completely no. Yes for documents, yes for production, yes for some different processes. Please submit your votes. Let's see the results.
Yeah, and you can choose several actually options. It's a multiple options question, something new.
Wow, I didn't know. Yeah, at least yes for documents, yes for some different processes. Yes for documents is leading. Okay. Maybe someone would add to statistics. If not, yeah, I believe we are good to go. So at least for documents, right?
Everyone has it. There was no one who said no. So yeah, I think Vera, you are happy with that.
That's good. So I will take now this part of the presentation related to change control management, because it's my favorite part. And surprisingly, it's not always implemented. So I'm happy that I can see the results from the poll, that you have it in the company implemented. Because for majority of the client of the Flex database are from CROs, right? Or a medtech company or small pharma company. And change control management, or the process for change control management, is obligatory for quality, for production, for development of the drug, but not important. Important it is, but not mandatory in the GCP space. But it's still important, and it's very nice to have it in place. And within the Flex database, you can have it, as you heard from Anna, everything in one system. So, or your kappa, incident, audits, any process which could lead to the change of the document or the process itself could be controlled by the change control process. So what is the change control? If you can go back. Thank you. So what is the change control? Is control action used to manage modification to the processes, system, or documents. In clinical space or in GCP space, it could be used not just for SOPs or policies, but also for clinical documents such as protocol or informed consent form or any document, regulatory document used in the clinical trials. So it could be also clinical trial specific or related. Doesn't need to be always just to the internal documents related. But it also could be, if you are from the laboratory or from the production, it could be related to the process itself or some method, validation, test, and any of these activities. So that's why it's important, because you have control in one system, everything what you want to change, and of course the impact of the change. So if you want to change, for example, inclusion criteria in the protocol, you can have an impact assessment of this change to the informed consent form, to the CRF, and to other documents. The change control management has usually several phases. Then I will show you later, but just shortly now, it's always initiation. Somebody needs to initiate the change control itself by request. Then it's the assessment. So various party can assess the impact from different angles. Then the planning, the action items which needs to be done, implementation itself, closure, and a review of this change control. And if you are from the laboratory or from the production, time to time you need also to do effectiveness check. What is nice in the Flex database, that it's very you can configure it for your needs. So you need to make it more simple or more complex based on the needs of the company, business needs, but usually initiation or every time initiation, assessment, planning, implementation, review, closure is in the process of the change control. Involved, of course, SM involved people in the process are quality assurance specialists, various subject matter experts, or could be some business leads or head of the departments. So now we can go to the next slide. So here is just the summary of various phases. And as I said, within the Flex database, you can make this process more simple or more complex based on your needs. Everything is kept in the system, and you receive, of course, or people involved in the change control process are notified automatically, and you can come back to this change control also during the inspection if you want to see why you implement these changes to the document. Now we can see how it can look in that system, but of course it could be a little bit customized for your needs. So if we can go how it looks in the system. So there is first the opening of the change management. So anybody from the company usually can initiate change request a form. They will describe if it's product or project related, if there is needed impact assessment, if there is potential some regulatory impact on this. Also, during the initiation, you can add the action items which you think you will need during the change control. It could be update of the documents, or you need the assessment of another people. So everything you can put here. Okay, so here we are adding action items where it should be, of course, finished, which people should be involved. So then you can continue with the description of this change request. It could be, as I said, simplified or be more complex based what you need. If you are medtech or from production or from pharma or from CRO. You can also edit the documents if there are any documents associated with the change request, and you sign this change request. Review, of course, and sign. And then it's sent for review. So now we are signing. Then the change request is in the system. And the quality assurance people can review what was written during the initiation. If there is need any change, they can change it, update it. Action items also they can edit, and they will sign it. Then the people who are involved in this, in that implementation of the change, in the action items, they will of course receive the notification about what they should do, and they are preparing this within the timelines. And when the change is finished for the documents or for the process, then the quality assurance quality assurance manager will review that the change control or the change was implemented correctly and approve this change. So when the inspection will ask you about why you changed this protocol, do you have it documented, do you have the impact assessment to another document, so you can of course show them within the one system that you did it in a control way. And now it's signature of the complete change control. But as I said, this could be customized for your needs. It could be more complex, or it could be less complex. So not to introduce many notifications and emails. Thank you.
Thank you, Vera. In fact, it was really very informative and quite useful, I believe. And let me remind to our guests today that the chat is open to your questions, and please use the chat to address your questions to Vera regarding the change control. And now to sum it all up. So not only the system allows us to manage lots of different processes, but it's really nice to have all the data in one system with all the notifications and with all the access rights controlled and so on and so forth. But the most important is to work with the data and to analyze it and use for further decisions. So the reports in the system are configurable and allow us to get any information required. So here we have some examples of reports, for example, on observations and gradings. In fact, it is the summary of all the CAPAs, incidents, and audit reports. You can choose the incidents of different grades. You can choose the specific root cause, for example, or maybe the area or field of observation. And you have the report generated summarizing the information from different sources. And once you have this report, you can analyze the quality trends, decide either you have to improve anything or change any process. And these reports are really quite helpful during the audits or inspections. And they are the source of information for quality management review meetings. So once you have the root causes or the observations all together, so you see already, the plan for future, the plan for improvement. So yeah, like we are really proud of our reports in the system. Recommend to everyone. And there already was the question regarding the 21 CFR Part 11 compliance in the chat, and thank you for asking such important things. So here we have the one of the last slides summarizing the compliance. So for sure the system is compliant. So we comply with EMA guideline on computerized systems and electronic data in clinical trials with 21 CFR Part 11 for sure. Meanwhile, this October, like a couple of weeks ago, FDA has issued the questions and answers for the electronic system, electronic records, and electronic signatures in clinical investigation guideline. So we have analyzed all the answers, and we came to conclusion that we are still compliant. So we are ready to provide any documents regarding the system compliance. We have successfully survived lots of audits. This way, by the way, Flex Databases has acquired ISO 9001 certification, and we are ready to support our clients during their audits and inspections and like providing all the necessary documents. Speaking about the documents, like we do validate our system. And we do share the validation deliverables to our client and support the clients during their validation effort. So we share the necessary specification, operational qualification, testing evidence. We conduct training to the end user. We share the user manuals and all the validation deliverables developed by the software developers during the coding, testing, and so on and so forth. So we are always here to support you after the implementation and again, to share any documents you need or your clients, your auditors, your inspectors would like to have a look at. So I hope that now we can come to conclusion that having a quality management system digital is quite easy and effective, and it is worth it. Thank you very much for your time, and I believe it's high time for us to switch to the questions if there are any. Let me have a look.
I think we can begin, we can start with the Flavia's question on the e-signature used through the system, whether it's compliant with 21 CFR Part 11 or not. I did type in the answer, but I think we can waste it over. That yes, of course, the signature is compliant with regulations, and it has 3 key components any regulatory agency will be looking for, which is who signed it, the reason for sign-off, and the timestamp of when it has been signed. And it is compliant, and of course, it's also validated, and it's a part of validation package that we provide during the implementation. Thank you all for joining today. A special thank you to Vera. Thank you for joining and sharing the wisdom. And we will send the recording to you, colleagues and guests, for today. So you'll receive it and we'll be able to enjoy it yet again. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.